Joanna baked cookies for her family. Yesterday, her family ate 1/3 of the cookies. Today, her family ate 2/5 of the cookies. What fraction of the cookies that Joanna baked were left? Your answer should be a fraction. So really, they're trying to see if you understand how fractions work and if you can add and subtract fractions. So first, you're going to have to add how many cookies altogether that were eaten. So 1/3 of the cookies were eaten, and so you're going to have to rewrite these with the common denominator. Easiest common denominator is 15. So it's going to be 1 times 5, because it was 3 times 5 makes 15. So 1 times 5, for the top. And then 5 times 3 makes 15, so 2 times 3 for the top. Then you're going to add the two together. Now, this is how many were eaten. If you ate 11/15, how many were left? So you're going to have to subtract. Or just think about it. If you ate 11, how many are left if you had 15? Jeremy draws a scale drawing of the pool. The scale he uses is 1 centimeter equals 1/2 foot. If the length of the pool in Jeremy's drawing is 42 centimeters, what is the actual length in feet of the pool? If you use your labels, you almost can't make a mistake. You can change this to 0.5 if you want to. You do not have to. Remember, multiplying by 1/2 is the same as dividing by 2. The model below represents subsets of rational numbers. In which subset of rational numbers does the number -15/3 belong? It's a trick, y'all. It's a fraction, but if you divide 15 divided by 3, you get a whole number. And it's negative. Ashley purchased a new basketball for $35 and new gym shorts for $45. Tax was 8.2%. What was the final cost? So first you're going to have to add the basketball plus the gym shorts. That number is the bottom. When you get that done, you are going to have to add to find the total. So 3 steps. Originally, Daniel could run 1 mile in 9 minutes. Daniel decreased the time it takes him to run 1 mile by 15%. How long does it take him to run 1 mile after he decreased his time? So, it's 9 minutes right now. You're going to subtract how much time he decreased. You don't really know yet because you have to find out how many minutes 15% is. Trevor went shopping for school clothes. He bought a pair of pants for $19.95, 3 shirts for $14.59 each, and 2 pairs of shoes for $35.49 each. He has $150 to spend. How much money will he have left? Have left means you're going to subtract. He has $150 minus what he spent, and that'll tell you what he has left. Now, to find out how much he spent, you're going to have to add the pants plus the shirts plus the shoes. Pants are $19.95. Shirts goodness. Shirts are $14.59, and there were 3 of them. Shoes were $35.49, and there were 2 of them. So it's a couple multiplication, an addition, and a subtraction. A lot of steps. What proportion can be used to find the length of BC? So BC is here, it's N. Be careful, the side that coordinates with BC, and you can see it up here in the letters, BC is YZ. They're in the same spot in the name, so they coordinate. And 6 and 3. So this doesn't want the answer. It wants to know how you would do it. So there's a few ways. You can color code your shape and you can color code your answers. That often works. The other thing you can do is pretend you're solving. And that's me using the yellow and the pink. The other one you could use would be yellow and blue. 10 and 4 multiply when n and 5 multiply. So if you look for A, 10 and 10 can't multiply. For B, n and 3, then the other ones have to be 6 and 4, and that's not happening either. Now, C and D are harder to check because they're letters. But think about it. N is BC. 4 is ZY. 10 is AC. And 5 is XZ. So if it's XZ and BC, that works. Then it has to be AZ and ZY. Is that true? For C? D says BC, ZY, AB, XY. So if you multiply, you've got BC and XY, and you have AB and ZY. Is that true? It takes 5 scoops of cocoa to make 1 cup of hot cocoa. Which table shows the relationship between the number of scoops of cocoa that can be made? If it were me, I would make my own table and find one that matched. 1 cup, oh, sorry, already started backward. 5 scoops makes 1 cup, so 10 scoops makes 2 cups. And I would keep going until I found the table that matched. In Chicago on Sunday, the temperature was negative 6.5. That night, the temperature was negative 15.2. What was the change? Change is how much it moved. We have negative 6.5 and negative 15.2. It's a small change. You're not crossing 0, so you're just subtracting. Is it a positive or a negative change? Well, if I started at 6.5 and I went down, it's a negative change. Trapezoid WXYZ and ABCD are similar. What is the length of XW? So XW, take some time to color code your shapes. If you're struggling with this one, it may be that you didn't catch they flipped it. For my picture, the blue side is the short side. Ooh. So I always start with what I need and pick another number, and it can be any number. But if you look, 8 and 6 are not decimals, where 3.75 and 5 are. So I would use 8 and 6. But there are 8 different ways you can set up the proportion to solve this problem, and all of them will work. A 12-ounce can of soup costs $1.44. What is the unit cost? You are dividing cost per ounce, OUNCE. So 144 goes in, 12 goes out. Make sure that decimal comes straight up. Make it big and fat so you can see it. NIE is ordering cookies for her party. After an informal survey of her friends, she decides 13% of people want chocolate chip, 72% of people want peanut butter, and the rest want sugar cookies. Usually when it says the rest or remaining, it's a subtraction. If 60 people come to her party, how many people will want sugar cookies? So my suggestion is for you to add the percents. And then I would subtract that from 100. That is the number I would use in my proportion. The other thing you could do is find 13% for chocolate chip, 72% for peanut butter, add those together, then subtract those from 60. But this is one proportion instead of two. Jawan kept track of the number of offers he received for credit cards, as shown in the table below. Which of the following is the best equation to describe the relationship between the number of days and the number of credit card offers Jawan received? Easiest way to do it. Take the easiest X and Y and test the easiest equation. Write the equation and substitute the number for the letters. 2 times 2 is 4. 6 does not equal 4, so the answer is not A. And then you need to do that until you get rid of 3. Now you can still use the 2. But don't go until 1 works. Go until 2 do not work. You want to cross 3 out. 2 times 2 is 4. Rewrite it. Keep rewriting it till it's finished. Which equation represents the relationship in the graph below? I always like to highlight and find the y-intercept. Now the y-intercept is a positive 1, so you need a positive 1 in your equation. Right now you can mark off 2 answer choices. They are obviously wrong. With whatever you have left, you can test your equations by finding a spot on the graph and substituting those numbers in for the X and Y. So if you wanted to test B, it would be 2 equals 1/2 times 2 minus 2. If that does not give you the right answer, cross it off. It's not even when you should be testing. You should have crossed it off when you found out your y-intercept. Model below, you have 3 x's and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 negatives equal 1, 2, 3, 4, 16, 17, 18, 19. You need to solve this equation. Draw your river, plus 5 both sides, divide by 3 both sides. You'll have it in no time.